when AI is taking the simple cases, so your team is left with more complex problems, with more tricky cases. So you want agents or engineers or your people, you want them to feel that they own the resolution of the case, not the team, not the metric, not the KPI, them. Again, support was for a long time. It was kind of, entry point. You want to get to IT, right, to high technology. Okay, go to support or go to maybe QA a lot of years ago. And now it's totally different. Now it's not everyone who has, I don't know, half of year experience of internship somewhere can be a good support engineer, right? Now you want more senior people, right? And that actually, brings a problem, which I think with AI is kind of everywhere. So how do you grow juniors?
Hi, Dima. Welcome to the
Hey,
podcast.
Vadi. Yeah, thanks for hosting me.
Just so that we can get this started, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you have been up to.
Sure. So I'm support leader with like 20 years in multicultural and multi-country environments, and with a lot of hands-on experience and then management experience in different areas and verticals. So I'm glad to share my experience about six things lately.
Well, you have a very rich experience. You have worked in a lot of different organizations with a lot of different team setups. Talk to us a bit about what's the North Star metric that you care about a lot as a CX leader.
So at the end of the day, support is one of the teams where there could be a lot of metrics. So it's really important to pick the right ones. And for me, over the teams, regardless of size, regardless of product, I would say that the most important metric is average resolution time, right? Because you want your customers to be served as quick as possible, but within it, you also want to have quality. Sub metrics that is also very, very important. And now AI, I think, helps with measuring it with is number of interruptions, because you want to avoid unnecessary back and forth. And for that, you want to train the people working in your team, be more thoughtful. And because at the end of the day, the less interactions you have, the less time your customer needs to put into problem resolution, and the better satisfaction they will have, right? Because everyone is measuring CSAT, but for me, I always feel it's a kind of side metric, not a primary one.
Talk to us a bit about number one, what skills should agents build today to really be at the top of the game? And help us tie it back to average resolution time that you just spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely. So those two things will be, the first one is definitely sense of ownership. That's more and more important, especially when AI is taking the simple cases. So your team is left with more complex problems, with more tricky cases. So you want agents or engineers or your people, you want them to feel that they own the resolution of the case, not the team, not the metric, not the KPI, them. And when they have that sense, people who have that sense, they are able to get the proper replies, to skill up themselves, to learn more. And at the end of the day, right, be a contact point for the customer, build a trust with the customer, which is very important, obviously, over the time, especially when you're working with in B2B, where you usually have less customers, so you can build more personal relationships. Yeah, this will also affect count of interactions. It will affect the time that will be required to resolve the problem. Because if you understand that you are the one who is accountable to resolve that case, right, you will be thinking maybe 2, maybe 3 steps forwards, right? So you have a problem, don't ask up front what, I don't know, send me the logs. Think 2 steps ahead, right? They will send you logs, they will share the data. Then what? What do you expect to see there? What are 2, 3 options to see? So build kind of, solution tree, potential one, right?
For you, ownership is a big deal. And I would love to understand a bit about how does the world look for you in terms of what agents need to own and execute on? Because in the older model, we had tier one, tier two, tier three, where it kept on bumping up based upon the level of escalation. And do you foresee a model where you're not really bumping so many steps? You essentially have one person who kind of owns everything end to end, going back to what you spoke about ownership. And talk to us a bit about what kind of knowledge infusion does it need for someone to go do those jobs?
I would say that It really depends on setup because it can be different. But I would say that the sense of ownership is doesn't mean that if you have escalated the case further to tier 2 and tier 3, it's lost. No, you're still the one who is responsible to provide the answer to the customer. I would say that actually ownership it depends on the model because it can be different, right? In one teams, you can have tier 1 holding the case and then interacting internally to get the answers from the senior tiers, from engineering, from whoever needed, right? In that case, definitely they are owning the case. They are owning the resolution time. In some other cases, it can be the case escalated, let's say, to tier 2 when it's more complex. Then tier 2 is the one who is interacting with the customer, is the one who is owning the resolution. And that's why, like last one, the case is, when people have an option to kind of, throw the case over the fence. Now it's tier 2 or tier 3 problem. No, it's your problem. It's your problem. You own it. When people, those who are able to keep that in their mind, to adopt it, are the most successful ones, from my experience.
That makes sense. Awesome. Talk to us about any CX news or book that you have been reading lately, and what excites you about it and why.
I would say the things that excites me is lately not the book, but the whole thing that's going on with our CX domain. I spoke with lots of leaders lately, and what I see, when I started my career 20 years ago, support was mostly purely reactive kind of thing, right? You get the case, you resolve it, you take the next one, so on and so forth. And nowadays, AI positively shaped it because support is getting more and more voice inside the company, more and more ownership, and more ability to actually impact everything. Because, right, we are at the center or the crossroad between engineering, between customer success, between product. So what I like is that support is transforming to be a kind of a team who is providing real business impact, right? We are talking a lot with product. We need to send them over structured feedback. We can impact what the product decisions will be made. I saw a lot of teams where actually support is now dictating engineering what to do. It's telling me now, guys, in the next sprint, you resolve these three bugs. And, that's awesome because it's linked to my previous answer, right? It's about ownership. So now you have more ownership, it's more challenging, definitely. It's more complex. It requires a lot of paradigm shift inside the minds of people, not only inside support, right? Inside everyone adjacent, who is pretty much everyone in the team, even marketing sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think, again, support was for a long time. It was kind of, entry point. You want to get to IT, right, to high technology. Okay, go to support or go to maybe QA a lot of years ago. And now it's totally different. Now it's not everyone who has, I don't know, half of year experience of internship somewhere can be a good support engineer, right? Now you want more senior people, right? And that actually brings a problem, which I think with AI is kind of everywhere. So how do you grow juniors? How you take them and how you grow them into seniors? Because with the setups that a lot of development teams have and also support teams have, right, juniors might be replaced by AI. But then you have the problem, right? Where do you take the seniors?
Yeah.
How you grow them? How you train them?
Yeah. A lot of support leaders that I talk to, they all kind of still struggle with getting support to have a stronger seat at the table. Do you have any tips or any pointers on how they can kind of achieve that goal?
Good point. I think definitely partnering with your C-level, VP level, right? And working in one-on-ones to share your thoughts and talking, being a bit more proactive. Sometimes it's not something that, that right of voice, I would say, place at the table that is just simply given. You need to own it. You need to earn it. The only way I think that you can do it is you need to show value. You need to think outside of the box. You need to think outside of depending on the level of management, right, that you're taking. You need to think what additional value you can bring, right? So I don't know. You were given a goal to, let's say, I don't know, increase CSAT, lower down resolution time. Okay, what else? Be proactive. Be proactive. We have a lot of very, very valuable data in support and our support trackers, right? Think about how you can use it. What else you can measure and I think what's more important is how it impacts business. So support leaders need to start thinking in money, right? Because at the end of the day, it's business and everything is measured in euros, dollars, or whatever currency. So when you're not coming and saying, okay, I don't know, we help to increase this set from 4.5 to 4.7. No, you secured renewals for counted X million dollars. And now, right, you're not dealing with some abstract number. Here's it, right? It's your dollars, your salaries, your bonuses. I think that's a good way to go.
Well, I get to have a front row seat to everything that you put out on LinkedIn. There is a lot of amazing data and posts that you throw out on LinkedIn. I get to read it, but if someone was to find you and discover the work that you do, how do they?
Well, find by my name. I see my last name is my combination of name and last name is kind of unique. So look for Dima Shur. And the whole thing why I started, some time ago, a lot of activity on LinkedIn is because I want to be, useful and helpful for community. I want to share my experience. So comments and discussions are truly welcome.
Thank you so much, Dima. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Vadi.
Take care.
Bye-bye.